Hello, and welcome to a rather wet episode of A Slice of Fried Gold.
Mm-hmm.
It is damp out there, Ben. So like a monsoon.
Monsoon, no.
I'm being British about it. It's rather wet. Therefore, we think it's a monsoon.
It's just raining slightly heavier than it was when we went into the cinema.
Yes, it went from that really fine, awful stuff to actual proper rain.
Yeah.
What is this lemon doing?
I don't know.
Just look at them in disgust. Anyway, if you're joining us for the first time, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. Comment down below on this week's topics. And if you listen to us on Spotify, do please give us a 5-star review and comment down below as well. And with that all being said, Ben, how are you?
Yes, so we nearly had to put this podcast on hiatus.
Oh, do we?
Yes, because I very nearly had a very big car crash.
Oh, okay. Do tell.
So it was the other day when it was like, you've just said, oh, this is a monsoon.
Yeah.
Remember the day a couple of days ago when it was heaving it?
Yeah.
It was that night.
Yeah.
I was on the dual carriageway.
Oh, okay.
I was overtaking someone, and I'd gotten to their blind spot.
Okay.
And this car came up the slipway.
Yes.
And the car coming up the slipway was faster than the car in the left-hand lane.
Classic.
So all's fine, all's good in love and war.
Yeah.
Car coming up the slipway joins the dual carriageway. There's plenty of space between him and the car I'm overtaking.
Mm-hmm.
But the car I'm overtaking doesn't like that, so he starts to speed up.
Right.
But then he realises he's catching up with the car that's just joined the dual carriageway.
Right.
And I'm still overtaking, so he then tries to squeeze between me and the car in front of him.
What and...
Yeah. As I repeat, this was the night when it was absolutely chucking it down. So, of course, I slam my brakes on, honk the horn, and he suddenly realises that I'm there.
Yeah.
And he swerves, and like by this point, I'd already backed off enough that I was safe. But the way he was swerving, I was like, "This is about to be a crash. This is about to be a crash. This is about to be a crash." He managed to save it. I do not know how.
Wow.
But he managed to save it, and the moment he saved it and he rectified, I just floored it past him. I was like, I'm not staying by this person.
Yeah, get away.
It's safer to speed and get away from them.
Yeah.
And everything.
Clearly an idiot driver.
There was L plates on the car as well. Now, I know you're supposed, when you've got a learner driver, you're supposed to take the L plates off the car for when the learner's not driving. You're only supposed to have the L plates on when a learner's driving. But I know people buy the proper stick-on ones.
Yes.
And they can't be bothered to take them off. Whereas my dad was like, no, you're getting the magnetic ones.
Yeah.
And then of course, if they got caught in a wind and they flew off, you then have to go buy more. But it meant that you could legally remove them and do the proper thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was an actual learner or if it was just someone who was driving a car with the L plate stickers stuck to it.
Yeah.
But either way, if that was a learner, he got fucking lucky.
Yeah.
And
Which
hopefully,
is a learner to then pull it out of what could have been a potential crash.
Yeah. Hopefully, if that was a learner, it scared him straight.
Yeah.
That he's not going to do that kind of thing ever again. So that was fun.
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah, and then I had a fun day today trying to do errands and being an adult.
Oh, adulting. It's
Adulting.
so exhausting.
We all wanted to grow up. We're like, I can't wait to be an adult. I'll get to do this and that, and I'll get to go wherever I want to go on holiday. And it's like, no.
What it be?
Lies. It's all lies. They're not even square. I did that at work the other day, and everyone looked at me like, what are you talking about? I was like, it's all lies. They're not even square. And then one person went, really? And I was like, that is a hilarious pun.
Yeah.
And I will die on that hill.
I've done that before at work. Because everybody that we employ is so much younger, I had to then YouTube the video. The advert for that. And they were just like, oh, okay, cool, and walked off. And I was like, screw you!
I'm hip!
That's what we did in my day!
But yeah, anyway, so I've got these recipes, and these recipes are meticulously calorie counted.
Yes.
And what I like about these recipes is because they're meticulously calorie counted, if the recipe calls for hot sauce, he actually says the brand he's used, rather than
Right.
you know, just saying hot sauce and you're like, well, this
Yeah.
hot sauce is so many calories and this hot sauce is
Yeah.
that many calories.
Yeah.
He actually says the brand he uses.
Okay.
And I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the brand he uses was stocked in Morrison's, but I, of course, go Tesco's. Other supermarkets are available. But I thought, that's fine, you know, I'll go, because I do it as a click and collect. So I was
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I do the Tesco click and collect,
Yeah.
and then whatever Tesco's doesn't have, I'll pick that up at Morrison's when I pick up this branded hot sauce. So it's all going to plan. I get to Morrison's,
Yep.
the hot sauce isn't there. And I'm like, I look around, I'm like, I don't even see like the brand anywhere. Maybe like,
Yeah.
because initially I was like, oh, maybe they're just out of stock of that, but it's like I didn't see the brand anyway. So of course I then had to leave Morrison's to get internet signal.
Yes.
I went on my phone.
Hmm.
They're only stocking now at Sainsbury's and Waitrose. Now, for the listeners at home and the viewers on the YouTubes,
Yes.
I had to drive 20 minutes to get to Tesco, to then drive 20 minutes back to Morrison's, but then I had to drive 20 minutes back out to Sainsbury's.
Yes.
I was not impressed.
All for some fucking hot sauce.
All for some fucking hot sauce. And I complained to Southend, like, you know,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, my morning's been a bit ruined.
Yeah.
And he was like, is the hot sauce necessary? Do you really need it for the recipe, or could you have foregone it? And I was like, well, the mango and habanero chicken and rice might have been a bit useless without it, you know.
Yeah. Might have just been mango chicken.
Mango chicken, exactly. It's like, you know, it's kind of a required ingredient.
Yeah. It's kind of helpful for that.
Yeah. Like, I get where he was coming from of like, oh, could you just not skip it? Fine, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the recipe I had tonight called for sriracha mayo, but I don't have sriracha mayo. I just have straight up sriracha. So I was like, you know what, I'll fucking use that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the end of the world that it's not the mayo version.
Yeah. I get that.
But for the mango habanero chicken, you kind of need it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's more of a key staple.
Yes. But anyway, I went back to Sainsbury's. I now have it. It's done.
Ben has adopted.
I have adulted for the day. You know, so it's fine. And plus, it also wasted my laundry time. Because I set the laundry off before I left.
Okay.
And when I got back, there was only 7 minutes left on my wash. So I was like, you know what? Okay, it's wasted petrol, but
But at least the laundry's almost ready.
the laundry's almost all ready. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. There's lots of puddles everywhere tonight.
That's because it's damp outside.
Yes, and we're country laning it because, of course, that gives us a bit more drive time.
We drive time.
Anyway, Paddy, how are you?
I'm okay, Ben. It's been I don't know what's going on. It's kind of... We've had January, we're in February, and it just... Everything seems to be going quick. I seem to be constantly exhausted. I know I'm coming up to some annual leave soon. I don't know if that's because, like, my body's like, oh, you're going on holiday soon. So
You're
like,
already in holiday mode.
I'm exhausted. Every day just seems to be busy. And there seems to be, like, 101 things to do. And it's just, like, constantly on the drive. Like, today was ridiculously busy for what should be a quiet February weekend. And it's just not been. We've had...
But
But...
do you think that's because this year Valentine's Day is slap bang in the middle of the week? So people have gone out to this weekend for Valentine's, and then they'll do it again next weekend as well. So half the population will have done Valentine's this weekend, another half will do it next weekend. Do you think?
No, because Valentine's Day we're almost fully booked.
Oh yeah, people will still acknowledge Valentine's Day as well, but
But we've had like every table under the sun has that can fit like a table of 4 and things like that. It seems to be like everybody's birthdays. I don't know what's going on. We had like a group of 20 in for lunch today.
well, what's 9 months before February?
I don't know. It's certainly not Valentine's Day.
No.
So
Uh,
I don't know. You can do the math.
I'm doing the maths. You carry on talking.
But all I know is that it's been ridiculous, and it's been on the move, and we get this in like January, but it's starting to happen in February as well. All the people that don't normally go out are coming out at this time, and they're just
coming out. Carry on. Yep. Sorry.
good song. But they just seem to be like idiots.
Not
everywhere.
idiots.
Like, more than usual. They're
Yeah.
just being ridiculous. I had somebody... Okay, some of you might not know what this is, but there's a dessert called an affogato. That is ice cream and coffee. I had somebody ask to take that away because they wanted to have dessert at home. And we said, well, you do realise by the time we get home, the ice cream's probably going to be melted because we don't have containers? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. So they asked us to put the ice cream in one coffee cup, the coffee in another, and then took it home like this. And I was just like, you know when you're just like, I don't really get paid enough to be dealing with these kind of idiots
Yeah.
on a Friday night. You know, I would rather be doing other things. I'd rather be that idiot on a Friday night asking to take my avocado. Like, instead of actually having to serve somebody there.
Yeah.
But it's just one of the things. It's January, it's February. People have realised that, you know, it's a shorter month, even though it's a leap year. Still got an extra day. But people they're going, oh, you know, January wasn't too bad. We may save some money so we can spend a bit more. And I'm not for it at the moment. I just want a quiet couple of weeks before my annual leave. And I don't think it's going to happen.
You ain't going to get that. You're on annual leave. It's not going to be quiet. Come on.
Yeah, we all know that it'll be quiet when I'm off.
Yeah.
It's always the way it works.
Always the way.
But hey ho, it is what it is. But other than that, nothing really silly to report. Just constant busyness.
Yeah.
So, but did you do your maths?
Yes. So 7 months before February is May, and I don't. Nothing really happens in May unless everyone's getting, you know, a bit frisky on May bank holiday.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Summer's coming in.
Summer's coming in. Everyone's feeling it.
Summer loving.
That was the other thing. You know how I go out on drinks every other Friday?
Yes.
Well, the revelation of last night's drinks was I'm an absolute weirdo.
And this has only just been established.
Well, no, you know it, I know it, but
Yeah.
this group is now learning it.
Oh, okay, right.
Because we were outside in the smoking area, just
Ben
chatting.
doesn't smoke.
I don't smoke.
It's just part of the social atmosphere.
Yes. Well, it was very, very warm inside, so we all kind of like went outside for fresh air. And then, of course, they all started complaining that it was too cold outside. You know,
Yes.
inside was too hot, outside's too cold. So they're like,
So, 1 foot in, 1 down. 1 foot in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
the place we go, they have those pillars of fire.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
I can't think of any other way to describe it. Like those pit cones.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like this slowly migrated over to one of them, and I somehow managed to find myself right next to it, and I was dying. So I was like, can we musical chairs this, please? And they're like, are you that hot? Are you that hot? Bearing in mind, they were all in coats, and I was in a t-shirt.
Oh, wow.
And I said, oh yeah, I'm a living radiator. Year long, I sleep with a 0.5 tog duvet and in the nude.
Yeah.
And it was like a stunned silence.
Yeah.
They're like, a 0.5 tog. The two best comments were, is that a handkerchief? And do they even sell 0.5 tog duvets? I was like, well, obviously, because I have one. But yeah, it was this stunned silence of how are you comfortable? How do you sleep? And it's like quite easily.
I close my eyes, providing there isn't light coming in through the window.
And I said, you know what? I repeated, I am a living radiator. It's actually summer I struggle most.
Yeah.
You know, winter is fine. I just
Yeah.
cuddle up and everything. And of course, you know, and the listeners and viewers are about to learn, is there's nothing I find better than going to sleep in a cold bedroom.
Does
Oh,
wicked.
I love it. I love a cold bedroom to go. But this is the thing: cold bedroom to go sleep in, warm bedroom to wake up in. I can't. Warm bedrooms in the morning. I'm cold bedrooms in the morning. I'm not a fan.
Yeah. I
It's
just don't like being cold.
I know cold bedrooms to go sleep in. It's chef's kiss.
I'll tell you that, mate. I don't like being. I've found in my old age bed that I just don't like to be cold.
Yeah, but you've always been old.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't like it.
Anyway,
Let's talk film. Let's
yes.
talk film. So we've just been to see The Iron Claw, starring Zac Efron.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first?
You go first. I've gone first the past few times.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I knew very little about the family that this wrestling family.
Yeah.
I knew a little bit from kind of when I was a kid. I watched a little bit of like WWF. I didn't know much about them, but I must admit, I bloody enjoyed this film.
Okay.
It was 2 hours and 10. I was not bored. I sat there and and we both said this before we went in. Like, I am tired. You are tired. We're squeezing this one in like on a Saturday night after I've finished work and you've had a full day.
Yep.
Like, I'm knackered, and there wasn't a bit where I was not tired. I didn't feel tired. I didn't feel my attention wandering. I was locked in.
Okay.
I thought the acting was very, very good.
Yep.
I thought everybody played their part brilliantly. The dedication that Efron has put into to bulk up for this movie was ridiculous. I think it was really, really outstanding what he's kind of put his body through.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Carry on. The passive aggressive. No, you're welcome.
Anytime. I had 2 slight issues.
Go on.
But these are minor, and it can't be helped. The bit where, in most movies, like if it's kind of based on a character or things like that, they kind of have bits that pop up and things like that. You know, location, date, this kind of thing. The bit where it popped up and it said like the stats of Efron, and it said that he was 6'2".
Yeah.
And the other guy was 6'1", and it was clearly a foot different because Efron is not a big guy. He's a small guy, and he was supposed to be playing a 6'2" guy. That is obviously, there isn't much you can do in those situations, especially when you're in such a physical film.
Yeah.
Personally, I just wouldn't have put that in. I mean, I don't know, it's director's choice.
Yeah.
And the other was, as much as I think Jeremy Allen White is a phenomenal actor.
Yep.
There's a bit later on in the movie, I don't want to give it away for like people that don't know, but I'm sure you understand there's the tragedy that the family has a curse. They're obsessed about this curse. The family is cursed or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The tragedy that befalls his person that he plays. There was bits where he was not portraying that well.
No.
And you could tell that it wasn't like that. I'm trying to be as vague as possible for people that haven't seen it and don't really know. But you understand.
Yeah.
And those were the only 2. And in the grand scheme of things, I do not think that this movie, it ruins this movie.
No. I think you've picked it up because, of course, you've studied acting.
Yeah. And you just can't help but see
because that went through my mind. Is like, so this has happened. I wonder if he's going to be able to keep that going.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I was watching it.
Yeah, and you were, yeah. And you can't help. But there's obviously also ways of getting around that as an actor, as well as costume department and like.
Yeah. You could have strapped it up and
and done other things.
Put maybe a very thin cast or something.
They could have sorted something out.
Yeah.
I think it was also like a small budget film.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, because it was BBC.
Which threw me.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a couple of BBC movies. We've seen a couple of A24 movies lately.
Yeah.
They've been pumping them out. But overall, I really enjoyed this film. I think, I'm not going to watch it once every couple of weeks, but it's definitely a movie that I'd like to rewatch. I think Efron has proper shown his acting chops in this. I think he's kind of shown his range. He's kind of done lots of comedic movies lately and things like that. So this is quite a serious, powerful film, and I think he's done a really, really good job. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I bloody enjoyed this film. Bloody enjoyed it. Ben?
Right, okay. Just because a true story is an interesting topic does not mean a film should be made out of it.
Okay.
I was sitting there and I found myself and I was like, I was going through previous inspired by a true story films.
Yes.
And I found that most of them either have an uplifting message
Yeah.
or like, you know, there's a reason behind turning this
Yeah.
true story into a film.
Yeah.
And I couldn't think of why this was, other than to tell the story of what happened, which is an interesting story.
Yeah.
There's no other purpose of this film. And like, because I was going along and I was like, because also these kind of films where it's based on a true story and it's, you know, it's horrible thing after horrible thing after horrible thing. As you said, the family believes they're cursed, blah, blah, blah. And so it's horrible thing after horrible thing after. Generally, those films will have a sort of ending,
A positive. Yeah.
a positive ending that's quite cathartic, and you know, it's that kind of. I can't think of this. There's a special word for it. You know, I studied Shakespeare. I should know it, but you know, it's you go through all these tragedies, and then there's the final sort of like and it's very cathartic. You feel sort of like all this emotional release out. And whilst this did have a positive ending, kind of, I didn't feel that cathartic release. So I can't say it's a cathartic film. I can't say it's a feel good film. I can't say it's an inspiring film. It's just a film.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It's an okay film. It was well acted and blah, blah, blah. I agree with everything you said, but it's just a film. I've used it a few times. You've used it a few times, but that's a puddle.
That was a late.
That was a late. It was a bit of a nothing burger.
Fair.
You know, it's kind of like, okay, it's a film.
Yeah.
I've learned something, but I could have also learned something through a documentary.
Yeah.
That's I think my issue with it is it's not.
Okay.
I didn't find it entertaining, so it was like this could have easily been a documentary on you know, the History Channel, and I probably would have watched it and been like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But that's I think my issue with it.
Right. Okay.
I had something else I wanted to say about it, but I can't remember what now. I've been too distracted by all the puddles and lakes and everything.
Well, okay, so bouncing off that, I kind of understand what you mean. I feel like, for me, like that bit at, like, a lot of movies do, like, where they, especially like about biopics, you know, they have that, like, and this is, you know, this was their life and their, and things like that. I like to know that, like, at the end that he got what he wanted. And things like that. To me, that made me well up. I was like, for me, that was like the emotional bit that, you know.
As I said,
all this tragedy.
It had a positive ending, but I didn't feel that cathartic release from it.
That's fair, but I felt like I got that.
Maybe I'm just too tired.
maybe. We are exhausted.
And as you said, whilst you said it kept your attention, I had a few moments of I just rested my eyes.
Oh, did you?
But I didn't lose consciousness.
Oh, okay.
I was still listening and I was still
with it.
fully with it, knew what was going on and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, there's nothing really happening on screen. I'm just gonna shut my eyes for a second. Because it was a lot of, for a wrestling film, it was a lot of standing around talking.
Yeah, I think they've probably tried to maybe, how many times have we been fooled by trailers?
Yeah.
I think they've tried to push that wrestling side of it more. To try and get the people in seats.
Yeah.
But I do think that it is.
Whilst it's more talking than wrestling, would I have changed it? Probably not.
No. That's the way I see it.
Because the story isn't about the wrestling, the story is about the family.
Yeah.
So
the wrestling is the second part.
Yeah.
And like
the wrestling is basically like the elephant in the room that they don't really want to talk about.
Yeah, it's
or it's do you know what it is? It's the drug addiction.
Yeah, it is.
You know, that no one really wants to do it.
Yeah.
But they can't
not do it.
Yes.
It's also like that, and there's lots of people in this world, and it does happen, you know, that people do a job, and they might not necessarily like that job, but that's their job, and then they end up doing it for the rest of their life.
Yep.
And it's also that kind of situation for them. Like, this is, you know, Jeremy's brother that he played. He obviously tried to break out and do something else, but like, and here we go, it clawed him back in. See what I did there, Michael? You know,
But
I mean, I must admit, when he was doing the claw, all I can think of
the
no,
claw.
all I can think of was Jim Carrey. It's the claw from Liar Liar. I was just like, I was sitting there right at the beginning. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it was very powerful in that sense of, you know, these people are, it's all they've got in their lives.
Yes.
It's like their bread and butter. That's the only thing that's been keeping them going.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that, you know.
Yeah.
But I do get what you mean in the sense of, was it a story that needed to be told? Probably not. But I'm also glad that I have seen it.
Yeah, I've learned something new tonight, and I'm not going to be upset about that. But as I said, I could have easily learned it in a documentary.
Yeah. I don't dispute that.
Anyway,
we shall let's Ben Park, and then we shall do
final thoughts. Adulting sucks.
Adulting is.
Who wants to adult? I certainly don't.
Yeah.
People need to remember how to fucking drive especially when it's raining.
Yeah. Why has everybody got money apart from me?
And me.
This is just rude. It's wet out there.
0.5 Tog duvets do exist, and they're fine to sleep with.
Yes. You do you.
You sleep with however many fucking blankets and layers you want. I'll sleep with my one little fit.
Yeah.
I'll sleep with my tissue paper.
His handkerchief.
My handkerchief.
And the Iron Claw, I thought it was a really good watch. I think it's a powerful watch. And I can also see why some people were annoyed that they didn't get any nominations for Oscars and things like that.
If you want to watch an interesting film about a true story, fine, but I wouldn't be like, oh my god, go watch this. That's my take.
Fair. But with that all being said, thank you very much for joining us. Have you been to see Iron Claw? Have you been caught in the rain?
Let us know what Tog duvet you have.
Yeah.
Do you have a winter and a summer one?
Yeah. Please let us know.
Please let us know.
But with that being said, thank you very much for joining us. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and comment down below. And if you are listening to us on Spotify, please do give us a 5-star review and comment down below there as well. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.